Well, g'day campers, how are you? And welcome back to another Thursday night at Campfire Project. I'm stoked tonight because I've got three people who I personally have spent some time with, and I'm very grateful that I have. And to talk about a subject that is really important at the moment, purpose. Welcome, Shorty. Welcome, Blaze. And welcome, Kylie. And so I couldn't think of three people more apt, in my experience, to be able to sit here and talk about purpose. Each person on this panel tonight brings something different to the table, and I'm really looking forward to opening it up. But if it's all right, I'm going to ask Blaze to introduce yourself, mate, and tell everybody what you do and how you do it and where it comes from.
Yeah, well, that's where it comes from, bro. And when people ask what is it that I do, I say take men on the longest journey of their life, which is 18 inches from here to here. So out of their head and into their heart. So I'm a purpose and mindset specialist. And yeah, it's been a phenomenal journey, which is life. It's been very colourful. All the steps that got me to where I am now to do what I do. And one of the team calls I had yesterday, they asked where I get my drive from. So someone very dear to me attempted suicide when I was 22. He was 18, and he was 60 seconds away from bleeding out, and he survived. And one of the things that he said was that he didn't feel comfortable enough to talk to me. And so after I left construction, stepped in this kind of work, all of those days where I don't want to be on purpose, all those days that I don't want to be on social media or show up, I just remind myself that if I don't show up, a man's going to die. And that's where I play up here. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about who and why I do what I do.
I love that. Yeah. And thank you for doing what you do. Kylie, who are you? What do you do?
My name's Kylie. I'm a death doula. Some call it end-of-life doula. So I talk to people about death and dying and talk them through what is expected, and I hold their hand while they die. And ultimately I'm trying to help everyone around them hold their hand. If I do my job right, you actually don't need me there. You'll be right. So purpose, how I got into this is probably something I've been doing my whole life and didn't realize that that's what it was. Didn't realize it was a thing until a few years ago. And, we were just open and honest in our family and talked about death and dying. And I was expecting my great-grandmother to die, and she was still going. When I was 17, she was still there. So instead of the nice, gentle death introduction to it, I ended up having a friend die suddenly and seeing everyone just fall apart around us. And knowing what I know now, it would have been a lot easier, and there would have been ways to help me and the community deal with that a little better. And so that's why I do what I do. Try and make it.
I love it. Just a heart-centered woman that just, I love what you do. I think it's one of the greatest gifts you can give people. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Shorty.
May I quickly interrupt before you do Shorty? That's the that we're talking about, Kylie, the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying.
Oh, it's an amazing book. Yes.
Yeah, that was the one.
I knew you were trying to remember it before. Yeah. Great book.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A good book is always good for the soul too, yeah? So sit, read, learn. Any opportunity to grow. So thank you. Shorty.
Yo. Shorty, a.k.a. James Short. Loving husband. Awesome dad. Ultra endurance athlete. Man with a big heart, with a big smile. And what I love doing is seeing the potential in people and them getting to see it themselves and then acting upon it. And that plays out in multiple different ways, from coaching, from mentoring to training, and teaming up with you, Mr. Carson, to start 10,000 conversations with 10,000 smiles through the business of smiles. And we're spreading the love. And I think this is an awesome topic to talk about this evening, is purpose, because it's going to spark some beautiful conversations, some really nice connections, and really tap into, as Blaze says, like really tap into that heart-centered space and start to reconnect, because it's time to reconnect, and it's time to bridge that gap, and that time is now. And I'm looking forward to having these conversations. So thank you for allowing me to jump on this evening.
Beautiful, and thank you for being committed and coming from the car office. I really appreciate that.
The mobile office.
The mobile office. Hey, listen, we've all had to do it. I just love the commitment. So thank you for coming in tonight. So purpose, like it's something for in my personal journey that took some time to find. It's taken some time to work into, but it's so important. And so important to have people in your life to get you there. So I'm going to ask you, Blaze, if that's okay. What do you see as the biggest obstacle to people finding their purpose?
That's a great question. And the thing is, every single soul on this planet is on purpose. It's my belief that there's 7.7 billion souls on this planet, and a soul's purpose is purely to be its fullest expression. And then that is our soul's job. And so if we are being our fullest expression, we're always on purpose. Yet we then have an ego or an identity called Blasé and Shorty and Kylie and Scott that then thinks that we're not good enough and we don't do the fullest expression pertaining to a job, a career, the endurance, the fatherhood, whatever it is. So then we diminish ourselves and we feel less than, and we don't feel on purpose. Our life doesn't have meaning. And so I believe if we can just be our fullest expression and give everything to whatever it is that we're doing, we're on purpose. If I take a 40,000 foot view look at my life, there's been so many pivotal points where I've thought, oh man, when I was molested, how was that going to be when I was on purpose? Yet now I teach people. So it was connecting all of these dots. Like it was a really adverse moment in my life. Leaving construction to then chase a pipeline dream that didn't work and I failed. I was on purpose because that failure taught me how then to run business. And I teach people that. So all of those moments, and there's many of them, well, I was all on purpose, all of them. But sometimes we get lost along the way and we forget that we are a soul and that we just got to fully just show up. And so, yeah, that's my take on purpose, bro.
And I love it because it's I believe the same, right? We're all perfectly perfect as we are, and we're all doing the best we can with what we've got right now. Sometimes we just need a little bit of realignment to get back into the zone, to get back into our lane so that we can go back to being ourselves, because of the opportunities in life. They're everywhere, and they're trying to drag you into their opportunity instead of you being yours. I love that. I love that. Beautiful. Thank you, Kylie.
Oh, pick on me. I think for me, I think what I've seen and what I've done in end of life stuff is people need to feel like they're contributing. So it's like they need to feel useful. And I think that's where what stops people is if they're just going to work and just, a job that's not very exciting, doesn't feel like it's going anywhere, and coming home paying bills. They just lose that sense of purpose because they're not contributing, or they go to work and do this amazing job and it's not being recognized, and then they're like, well, I don't want to do this anymore. I think you've got to find the thing that's passionate, sets your soul on fire, that keeps you wanting to keep going. And there are times when that is just, I'm just going to get through this job. I just need to pay these bills. I need to knuckle down, and I've got to do this shitty job with a stupid boss, and I'm just going to have to get through it. And that's my purpose for now. And then I have a headspace where I can do this other stuff. But I think it's linked to passion and a desire to feel useful, like you're contributing. Yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Because in the work that you do, like you got a soft, big place in my heart for what you do, because I think it's the greatest gift you can give somebody is at the end of the day is to support them to get through to where they've got to get to.
Yeah.
But you would see people that haven't found their purpose. You would see people that have found their purpose.
Yeah.
What would you feel the difference between those two people is?
regret that they haven't done what they or enough. I've had one that she said, I don't think I did enough. And I was like, are you kidding me? When I listed it all off for her, she was like, is it enough though? I was like, I don't know. Like I'm going to hold you up as my idol. I'm like, shit, I haven't done anywhere near this stuff. You know, she'd done amazing things. But she felt like she hadn't made the world safe enough for her grandchild. So that was interesting. Others who have had regret because they, you know, have strained relationships with their family, or, you know, they've got that sort of stuff. But the majority of it, most people manage to say, I've had a good life, or, you know, I've been blessed in my life, or, you know, I've done all right, I've passed on this. Yeah. So I think it's a level of regret. And I'd say to people all the time, you know, nobody ever got to the end of their life on their deathbed and said, oh, God, I wish I'd spent more time at work. Like, you've got to find that thing or do that thing that you want to do. And there's a whole other existential crisis thing, and I can talk to about, you know, people who actively die and have a very traumatic death where they're thrashing around and crying out. Generally, you'll find those people haven't said something or haven't done something. There's something that is, you know, they need to say before they get out, but they get to a point where they can't. But
yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So in their last moments, they're trying to get out what has been sitting inside them. There's
there's a lot of people who active dying is a lot like labour. I don't know if Blaze is a dad, but I know the others would have seen labour. There's a process, like there's a system, and you kind of go, okay, now we're in, like, there's no turning back from here. Now we're in it. You know, this is labour, and there's only one way out of here. And death's the same. There's stages, and there's this active dying stage. And leading up to that active dying stage, there can be there's all different names for it. And some people will call it anxiety and death anxiety and a few different things, but it's basically, and they medicate for it. There's a sedative that they can give you if you're having it. But it's everyone I know that's had that has had, it's something that they haven't actually worked out. Whether that's, you know, some people it was a lot of regret. I was like, you didn't really, there's a lot here. We're not going to get to this in this week, you know. But other people, it's just one guy, he wanted to know that his wife would be taken care of. Like, once we'd explained that, he was okay. And then it was the weirdest thing. And his daughter said to me when we did it, she said, I'd heard stories of this, but I didn't realize we were trying to pick the funeral song for him. And it was, I can't remember who it was, but he wanted the Johnny Cash version of it. And we were going through Spotify, and every time they played it and it was by some other singer, he was just getting really upset. And then when we started the Johnny Cash one, he was like, oh, it's okay, like really calm. So I was like, you know, there's these little things. But once we did that, then he was okay. Those little things. But yeah, other people have a real crisis and a real. But if I do my job right, then you've gotten this out and you've managed to go into it calmly and prepared.
Yeah, and I think that's amazing, because doing your job to help people go into that place in their heart out the back door is just so important. But if I could ask you another question into that, if people found their purpose earlier, do you think there'd be a lot less of that?
Yeah, I think people still can find their purpose and still have regret, because they may not have, you know, they may have done their work purpose and felt like they did that, but didn't get everything out that they needed in their personal life. It still might happen that way. But I think, yeah, once you're on this path, then everything else kind of goes, all right, well, we'll follow along. This is going well, so I can now deal with all the other things that are under those layers. Yeah, I feel confident doing this. I feel confident in my purpose and I'm on track here. So now I've got the headspace to deal with the other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I actually we'll get on to that a little bit later about the headspace around once you actually find your purpose, how that changes. Because I think that's something really important. Shorty, sorry for dropping out a little bit.
Yeah, apologies for dropping in and out. It was like it's a really good question, and I think from my personal experience and coaching and seeing people going through this process, that whole purpose and what Blasé said as well was there's purpose in everything that we do, but I also think there's levels of purpose where there's an element where that really allows us to take things to another level. And what I mean by that is I see so many people set goals and achieve their goals. They get to their goals and they achieve it and they go, is that all there is? I thought I'd feel different. I thought I'd have a different reaction. And I see there's a tipping point where when the goal starts to be bigger than them and have an impact on others and a contribution to others, that's where I see that purpose go to a whole new level, because it takes it away necessarily from them and then puts it on to and for of others. So coming back to, that element of being of service, of contributing, of making an impact for others, that's where personally I've seen some amazing purpose-felt actions, feelings, and impact of people when they shift that. Oh, it's all about me. It's all about me. It's all about me. No, it's all about we. How can we work together? How can we have a bigger impact? And that's what I see is that level of purpose. Like, right, we're in that flow where we're having that impact and we're having a contribution.
Yeah, I love that contribution. I'm actually going to mute you, Shorty, if that's okay, just while we're not talking.
Yep.
Blaze, you started smiling then. There's a reason for that.
What Shorty was saying, and it's when people get to the end goal and it's like, oh, I thought I was going to feel something. I feel those people are searching or trying to find purpose, yet it's when you're on purpose. So it's their journey. It's like everyone knows that cliche of it's not about the destination, it's the journey. But the people that are on purpose, it's in the grind, in the struggle, in the adversity, can still find that fulfillment and acknowledgement within themselves, because it is impactful. But yeah, there's that. It's a feeling of on purpose rather than trying to find purpose. That's something I've noticed as well.
Yeah. So just on that though, so you're on purpose. How do you know that you're on purpose?
You're leading with and from your heart. And exactly what Shorty said is it's come back from a I place to a we place. I believe that this is when we actually go from boyhood to manhood. And it's that initiation. When we become a man, we are on purpose because we no longer just do it for ourselves. I think that's what boys do. When we become a man, we realize that there's other people, our family, our children, our community, and humanity, and we do it from that place. And then I feel that's that initiation, which has been lost through Western culture and society. And that's why so much buzz is around right now about men being on purpose, because we had that innate wisdom in us, because it was back in those tribal days. Men went through initiations, or boys went through initiations to become a man. And once they become a man, they had meaning to life. They had an existence. They had a role. And that was for the tribe and the community. And they had different roles, but it was always going back to the tribe. And then so now in Western culture, men are feeling lost and stuck because they don't know their place. And so that's why so many men don't feel on purpose, and they're not acting with purpose, because it is like Shorty's mentioning, coming from a place of I, because they haven't gone through that initiation of doing something for a greater good or a greater purpose. That's from my experience.
Everybody's sitting here nodding with you. There's a lot of agreement right here, right now. Shorty.
That's a really interesting point, and just picking up Blaze, the language there where it's on purpose and acting with purpose. I just want to throw that out in there. What do we see and feel the difference, or is there a difference, or how is that aligned?
So for me to answer that, we can do something with purpose, but when it's aligned to your vision, that's on purpose. That's how I see the two differences. And so, yeah, if you have a vision and a mission and that's where you're going, that's on purpose. But you can do anything with purpose, but if it's not in alignment with your values or your vision, like it's not congruent with the individual. And so you do it with purpose, but not on purpose. I think that on comes back to the individual about whoever's mission that is on their heart.
Thanks for asking that, Shorty, and thanks for disappearing.
Shorty's like, yep, that's enough. I'll be done now.
I love it. You know, and this is one of the things I love about these discussions, right? This is life, right? Some things work, some things don't. The most important thing is you just get back up and have another crack, all right? And it's no matter what happens tonight, Shorty jobs in and out, we're still going to be here, still going to keep going because it's important, right? How you doing, Shorty? Back again? Did you get all of that?
My phone's heating up. My phone will have smoke coming from it in a minute. It must be because we're all on purpose. It's hotting. It's heating things
He's
up.
hunting up, yeah. I think that's what I said about contributing. Like when you're on purpose, you feel like you're giving to the world or giving to those around you or giving something greater than yourself. Yeah.
It's interesting that when we are giving to, and I'm going to use myself as a personal example here, and I know this will resonate with so many listeners, especially leaders, that we can be giving and be on purpose and build massive communities and then get acknowledgement for that, which feeds in an ego. And so then when we're on purpose, it's the more that we achieve, the more the accomplishment, the more we're going to feel good. But if that all subsides, then do we still feel like we're on purpose? And this is something that I've just transitioned through in 4 months. Created a movement called Conscious Man Brotherhood here on the Sunshine Coast. Had 500 men in our Facebook group running weekly meetups, 6 up and down the coast. When the birth of my daughter came 4 months ago, I stepped away and watched that validation aspect because I placed so much importance and acknowledgement and validation around my purpose and men's work because it was in the limelight and people in the media and everything would pat me on the back consistently daily. And then when that goes after 3 years, it's like, oh, am I still on purpose? I was questioning myself. Like, am I really on purpose? Like, because it wasn't getting validated. And so I had to do a lot of soul searching within myself to find the purpose within here, not from what other people are patting on the back for. And so that's been a really interesting journey over the past 4 months. And I know that many leaders across many different spaces may not have experienced that when it all stops, wherever it happens. And it's it's been an interesting journey, really interesting journey.
I really want to thank you for sharing that because it is something, right? And purpose does change as new things come into your life. Purpose, your focus changes. You're still on purpose, but you find new love, a new opportunity to love. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but you got a new opportunity to love.
Bro, on a whole completely another level because it's a little girl too.
Yeah.
I literally only put up a post today. Is like one of the purposes that I've been put on this planet is fatherhood. And so there's, like you're mentioning, there's many different aspects to how I feel personally on purpose. And fatherhood is my biggest driver for that.
Yeah.
And it would be like everyone else that's a parent, and there's other aspects,
I know myself that fatherhood has been the greatest purpose that I've been gifted.
Mm-hmm.
It's given me the opportunity to change my ways in life that right or wrong, that's the way I lived. It's given me the opportunity to see well beyond myself. It's given me the opportunity to learn to listen. My greatest teacher is my son. Then my wife. I've been gifted these opportunities and I'm just so grateful. I thought my entire life was going to be spent building high-end swimming pools, working the grind, going hard, working 6-7 days a week because that's what was done. And then these eyes looked at me. And then I wasn't there for the first week of his life and it ate me. It took everything away from me. And I'm like, I was scared to be a father. I was so scared. I didn't want to be one because I didn't know if I could do it right. And I now take that as my biggest thing, the thing I love more than anything else. And I'm only going to talk about this here because there's 4 people on screen that are amazing parents that have gone above and beyond to choose to be parents, to choose to take on that extra responsibility and that love. But I'm just going to share with you something I'm so proud of. Last night, Oscar was at me because, we're in lockdown and we've got the opportunities that he's not able to see anybody. So he needs my attention every night. He needs it. And I came home late last night and I didn't have that time for him and he lost it with me. And I'm like, that's fair enough. I understand that. I said, but buddy, I'll come home and you haven't done the little bits to help to give me the time to do that. I said, it's a team effort at the minute. I said, I love you and I want to spend time with you. And he's gone downstairs. 10 minutes later, he goes down and plays the piano. I can hear him playing the piano. He comes up and goes, Dad, I'm really sorry for the way I did that to you. I'm really sorry for how I dumped my pain on you. But it's really important, my time with you, and I want you to uphold that. My biggest purpose is holding me in check. He's also giving me the opportunity to see him. He's validated. Talk about purpose. Right there. It's just amazing. I love it. And Blaze and Shorty both doing amazing stuff within the fatherhood program. Kylie doing amazing stuff. What you've got, but you're an amazing mum. You're a single mum that's worked so hard to give your son.
This week's been rough. Not my shining moment this week. I have a 17-year-old that flexed his independent muscle. It didn't go well. Yeah. He's like, I can do this. I'm 17. I was like, please, you can't even remember to take the rubbish bin out every week. Yeah. No, he flexed his muscle. It didn't, not pretty.
That's what our kids do. They test our boundaries.
No, I always say you get the kid you deserve.
Well, if it's all right, Kylie, I'm going to jump over to Shorty and focus a little bit on fatherhood for this minute.
Yeah.
Just because I think not so much Shorty.
No, you have to talk to me. No, you can talk to me.
No, we will.
Fatherhood. Welcome to parenthood, dude. Oh my God.
3 under 3.5.
Really? Yeah, you're great.
Yes, because they've all been conscious decisions. And so in the moments of chaos, I just remind myself that I chose to have a big life. And I chose every single piece of this. I chose the business. I chose my purpose. I chose these children. I chose my fiance. I chose to build a house in amongst of all of this at the same time. I chose all of that. And when I remind myself that, it just brings that warrior back out. It's like, okay, let's get it.
Yeah. No, 3 under 3. You've got your hands full. Well done.
Yeah. But I'm going to grab that. This is your choice. You take responsibility for that. You're and doing it with love in your heart because that's what's important to you. Most people would look at that and go, possibly not. But when you're on purpose, right, it's not as hard as because you've got love in your heart. And you're loving every part of it, the people you're with, what you're doing.
Yeah. When we were very particular, my partner and I, about the life that we desired. And we sat down and I looked into what is it that I want in life. And a big piece of that was that my family was involved with whatever it is that I do. And so I made a massive list about everything that I love to do from that place of my heart, what fills my soul on fire. And then ask myself the question, how can I monetize that? How can I make a living off that? Okay, cool. I don't know. I'm going to pay someone to show me how to do it again and again and again and again and again until it works. And it works now. And also I watched a Tony Robbins clip the other day and it really resonated. It was simply, if you can change the meaning, you can instantly change the feeling. And so those moments when it's hard, and we've literally, my daughter, 3 months old, was in hospital 10 days ago with croup, which had to leave in an ambulance. All 5 of us were down with sickness, like crook as of 2 weeks. And there's so much tendency of like, woe is me, why is this happening to me? But X, Y, and Z. You can go down that rabbit hole of victim mindset, but we just flip the meaning. It's like, cool, if this is the universe telling us we need a rest. And so I stopped training in the gym, slowed back in business, went in and just loved on the family. And we've come out the other side. And there's so many opportunities have just opened up in the last 7 days that is incredible. And so we look at those moments and like, cool, we're just purging. And just like we need to just reset, and we just trust in that and just sift for the gold and look for the meaning that is a opposite of victim. And so we always look at like a purpose mindset or a winning mindset. And so it was just that really a change of meaning, you instantly change your feeling.
I love that. And it's something that I've been privy to inside of the stuff that I do as well. It's amazing when you have a scenario and you get a different perspective. You can't hold on to the old perspective when the new one arrives. It's impossible. But it's about finding that perspective, And I'm pretty sure on the screen I'm taking a punt, but we've all got mentors in our life that we go to. We hold space for us that actually give us the different perspectives. And that's one of the most powerful things we can have. To be on purpose, do you need a mentor? Do you need somebody in your life to help you? Kylie?
Yeah, maybe it changes. Maybe there's times when you need someone to, whether it's your best friend to kick your ass or a mentor to go like, really hold you accountable. Or I think maybe I don't know, I call it your village. I just call you have a village around you, and sometimes it'll, this person will be the one that helps you with that, or you'll get help from where you least expect it sometimes. Yeah. But I think we do, whether it's a mentor or a team of mentors. You need your own little cheer squad, don't you? It's so much nicer to have a personal cheer squad.
I agree completely. But do you identify who your village is? Do you know what they do for your village, each person in your life?
Yeah, I think I do. And I think, there's times when people will come in and out of it and they'll be really, really close, but, and then you don't hear from them. They'll be, it might be there for really important aspects, and then years later they're just not there. Life, whatever happens, and it's not. So, I think people, what's that saying about they come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes people come in for a reason and then they give you a gift, and sometimes you got to look for the gift in what that is, but they're there. And others come in for a season, a while, and others are there for forever. So I always say I'm blessed. I'm totally blessed to be surrounded by a really amazing village who do amazing things for me.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
I heard
Sure.
a really cool
Sorry.
analogy pertaining to what you've just said about people falling off.
Yeah.
And so if we're the center of the universe. So you are the center of your universe. I'm the center of mine. Scotty, Shorty, we're the center of the universe. So we're like in the middle of the table. And as we rise and grow, and then if we're talking about on purpose, people on purpose are always evolving and we're always growing. So as we rise and grow, whether it's in conscious awareness, stature, whatever it is, we're going to continue to rise. And so if we're in the middle of the table, the tablecloth is going to rise. The people that are supposed to be in our life, they're going to rise with us and grow with us, and they're going to continue to go with us. And the people that aren't supposed to be with us, the saucers, the bread rolls, the knives and forks, they're just going to continually fall off as we can keep going up. I love stories, so when you can see it and visualize it. Because as a man that had to step away from childhood mates to follow my purpose, it was one of the most daunting things in my life. And it was, but when I got that analogy, I'm like, oh, cool. That just happens.
Yeah.
And it just is.
Yeah. It just is. Yeah. It's just sometimes it just is. And for whatever reason, and they can be really, really close, really close people. Yeah, really close to you. And you may not find out why, but they're just over there on their tablecloth. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm going to use
I love that analogy. What came to my mind, Blaze, was the Italian tablecloth, right?
Yep.
With garlic bread on it and pizza on it and the salt and pepper shaker, right? And the glass of red wine. And it just all goes as you pick it up. It's just like, then I was thinking, wonder what it'd be like if you try to do the trick when you quickly whip it out. Oh, I love the stories. Imagination, beautiful.
I did that. I quickly ripped it out because I was working with Mick Hawes, who's a member of the Campfire Project, and the words, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the situation. I was going through a tough time, and he goes, "You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with."
Mm-hmm.
And I went, "Ouch."
Yeah.
I love these people. I love them. I love them with all my heart. They're amazing people. But that's not where I needed to be.
Yeah.
I needed to raise my game so I can be on my purpose. Like it's something for me that, like, I really loved watching and feeling the tablecloth rise, because when you are on purpose and you are rising, you're growing daily, you're doing the bits and pieces, you're getting up at 4 o'clock, you're doing extra little bits that just, when no one's watching, you're doing the work that makes you. And it's the most beautiful work. And more if I'm going to look at the screen and go, it's a struggle to do those things, but you're doing them because you know the benefits, you know what's going on. And one of the things that Lance Piccioni actually gifted me, we've got, who are the 5 people in your life? Who are the 5 people in your life? What do they do? Why are they important in your life? And it's okay to flick them off, get new ones, get new growth, because it's the opportunity, right? Like, I personally think we're all plagiarists. We're plagiarists in life. We're all learning. We're taking from one another, and that's the most beautiful gift we can give each other. Is a compliment. I love what you do. I'm going to take that and I'm going to implement it to what I do, and then we're going to adjust it. We're going to play with it. The next person will come along, see it through their eyes, and then they take it again and they'll plagiarize it, and that's how we get this beautiful growth to where we are. And I could think of nothing more beautiful than everybody finding their purpose, finding their heart. Right now, in this current opportunity called COVID, there's a big spotlight going on to all those little dark corners in your life that are saying, hey, this ain't quite right. That ain't quite right. I'm in Melbourne. We're well over 200 days in lockdown. And I'm still smiling. I'm still getting up 4 a.m. doing me because it's just, I'm on purpose. And I love it. So I'm going to go now and start with you, Shorty. Where would you start? Where would you start? You feel like something, you've got more in you. You know you've got more in you. Where would you start?
What I find is that the danger to it is to keep it in your head, because the people that I've spoken to all got aspirations, purpose things that they want to step into, becoming more on purpose, but it stays around in their head, and that's where it lives, unfortunately. So the ability to get it out of one's head through a conversation with, i.e., a mentor or someone that you trust, or your community or your tribe, or even just journaling it out, will start to create clarity, will start to create a vision, will start to create an area where you might need to learn or grow or develop more into to be on purpose. And I think that's where we have, as Kylie was talking about before, the regrets. So many people take these things to their grave, where really, if we were to have a conversation with someone and knowing that's a safe conversation, that's willing to back one another, to come together and reconnect to like, hey, this is where I'm thinking. Hey, this is where I'm thinking. Wow, let's start that conversation. Let's continue that conversation. I think that's where the magic lies. Yet we're so being isolated and locked up where that's not happening, and we're actually not communicating. We're not being connected. We're not having those conversations where we can really, that blue sky thinking, walking on the beach and thinking, wow, walking in nature and just feeling the earth underneath you and go, what if? How could I? What would that actually look like? Those beautiful open-ended questions to spark the curiosity. And I think curiosity is a beautiful thing. Mixed with learning actually gets that fuel going with inside of you. That's when we get the juices flowing. But getting it out of your head, talking it to someone, putting it on paper, gets things moving.
I think an add-on to that too, Shorty, is then also, especially in the men's space, being able to put your hand up and say, this is the idea, but I don't know how to do it. Like, this is on my heart, like deeply in my heart. How do I start this? Like, I think that, like, I've seen a lot of people write it down and it stays there because they don't ask for someone that's already done it before. And the advice I give,
hence, i.e., the mentors, right?
Exactly, because someone's already done what you want to do. Like, it's a very, very small percentage that it's like very minute. That's a brand new idea, but they're always recycled ideas, and so someone's done it and done it very, very well. And so just asking for help or modeling, like just getting that momentum. Like, I love the phrase "movement equals movement," and so that movement equals movement.
Oh, I'm sorry. You've just given me a question because it's the look on your face then, and the look on Shorty's face, and the smile from Kylie. When someone reaches out to you and they've put their hand up and they say, I'm actually interested in being a death doula. I'm actually interested in men's work. I'm actually interested in being a business coach. How does that make you feel when someone reaches out to you and does that? Shorty.
You funny timing. I actually caught up with someone yesterday and she said, why do you do what you do? And I looked her dead in the eye. I said, this type of conversation, this getting that dream, getting that purpose inside of your head and having a conversation around that and creating a plan around that creating a game plan around that, creating an opportunity where it lights you up. You go, wow, looking at that opportunity, that potential, and then acting upon that. That's, for me, it's like, wow, it lights me up because of the ability to help others. Once again, coming back to taking it off from I to we, and walking that journey together.
Love it. I love it. Blaze.
The very first thing I feel is respect. And it's the very first thing I ever say. It's not about me. It's like the very first thing is like, dude, that's the most courageous thing ever because you've chosen yourself. You've reached out. You're like, so many men get to a crossroad and don't take the path, don't commit. So many people are in relationships that don't, and they grind out and they hate the partner. Dudes grinding jobs that never declare bankruptcy because of all of this stuff. So anyone that reaches out to me, the very first thing is respect, and it's respect for them. It's like, dude, you've gone over and above so many other people, and like if you have that level of commitment to like reach out to me, it's game on because you're committed. There's an analogy I love, and it's my John Clancy, my grade 12 sprint coach. He said the first three steps of a sprint race are that to get in the blocks are the most important. And I look at that to anyone reaching out to anyone else. First, it has to be ownership of like, I want to fucking change wherever I am. Second one is taking action and actually reaching out. So that's the respect part because they've already owned that they don't want to be where they want to be. And so to see that in another human, I deeply respect any human that can own any of their shit. And then to action that and come out, man. And the third step is then committing to it. Because sometimes we get to that action piece and then it's like, oh, I've tested the water. It looks like too much hard work. Oh, I could fail and like all these people are going to fall off my tablecloth if I go out there and do that thing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I love that 3 steps. And so the third step, that's our job to help them take that third step. And then we run that race with them. And I always say it's not a 100-meter sprint either life. It's not a 100-meter sprint. So, yeah.
Love it. Love it. Kylie, what's it like? And thank you. Kylie, what does it feel like when someone reaches out to you?
I think more of it. The world needs more. We haven't got enough. We haven't got enough doulas in the world, and we need more of them. So come on. And it's ownership, and I always feel so grateful that they've asked me. How do I do this? But I always remember that someone once said to me, "You should manage yourself out of a job," and I love that. That I would love to do that. Is just manage. I can't do everything, and some people need to be a doula just for one relative or one friend, but some people need to do it for a lot more people. And I was like, whatever. You should all have someone that you can trust at the end of life to hold your hand, and so there should be more people doing it. And I'd happily manage myself out of a job and give whatever I could to anyone to help them.
Oh, I'd love to see more and more death doors. I'd like that to be. One of the best conversations I've ever had was on death last year, and that was one of the most with yourself, brain not kicking into gear there. But it was a conversation that was just with love and just sort of beauty. Finding purpose is something for me that's been a big opportunity. And it's been a lot of hurdles along the way, and a lot of, as Blaze was owning earlier, things just change and they didn't go right. And started out as a tradie and just didn't feel right. I'm the same. Started out brickies. I sold lollies door to door. I went and did bricklay and then became a pool plumber and a steel fixer and a pool builder, and just nothing felt right, and it just couldn't get it working for myself. 44 years, I'm finding my groove, and the smile I wear because of that is huge. And something I want to open up now is like something that I've actually talked a bit with Alan about is in fact, from 0 to 20, you get the facial expression that you're given from those in your life. From 20 to 50, you get your own. And from 50 and beyond, you get the one you deserve. It's interesting because I'm smiling is my thing, right? I love it. But watching people's cheekbones, right? And seeing the muscle growth in here, there is so many people beyond 50 that don't have those muscles, that haven't found their purpose, that haven't found their growth. And I'm not saying that if you're 50, there's no time for find your purpose, because one of the greatest tools that we have in our society right now is mentors, people with life experience that are so important right now. Shorty, you and I talk a fair bit with mentoring men at the moment about different things. And every single one of us right here in our purpose, living our purpose, has mentors in our lives. I would love nothing more than to see people that have all these skills come through and help the younger generation. I think they need it now more than ever. I really do. I think those skills. So I'd like to ask each of you, what would you recommend to somebody, and look, we're a younger generation to the 60 pluses, what would you recommend to them to help them find purpose? I'm going to start with you, Kylie.
Recommend to the 60 pluses to find purpose?
Yeah.
I think I see them looking for something else. Like, you know, they've worked, especially that generation, they've generally worked one job. You know, it's like I was always this, or I just did this for my entire life. I was like, well, now's the chance. Now you can do, what do you want to do? Like, I don't know, maybe not take up roller skating, but like, do you want to learn a new skill? Do you want to learn how to use computers differently? Do you want to try and embrace technology that you never did? Do you want to finally read the books? One of my favorite clients, God love her, she's 91, and she retired and took up jazz dancing, because the last time she did it, ballet dancing and tap dancing and jazz dancing, was when she was like 7. And she retired and said, I'm going to tap dance. And she's got all these cool hats in one of the spare bedrooms. And I was like, where are all these from? She goes, oh, that's from when I was doing all the tap dancing. I'm like, she's 91, she's fine. Like, I just don't think, I think she's going to go to 101. But she's she's great. But I was like, well, cool. That's what kept her going. She you know, puts on all these shows and, yeah, had all these hats. And I was like, find something new that if you haven't always done it, if you haven't found something you want to do, then do it. You know, just that's the time to embrace. You're still young enough to be able to do it. Go and do that thing you always put off doing because you're busy raising children and paying mortgages and, yeah, life. Being an adult, you know, paying bills and working out what to eat. That's pretty much adulting. Is that life though if it's not lived? No. Some people it is. Some people that's enough. They go, yeah, that's all. I was good. But others are like, no, I'm going to, you know, one guy I know retired and built his dream house. I'm retired now. I'm going to build my dream house. Like, that's not exactly retirement, but okay. Yeah.
Right there's purpose.
Yeah. Might be his purpose. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Shorty.
I think Kylie hit a really good point, and that's the whole learning aspect of the continual learning, and going through and then coming back to what Blaze said before about putting your hand up and asking for help. You know, you can be 60, 70, 80, 90, whatever, and still ask for help. And by, once again, talking it out, asking questions and getting a mentor, even at the age of 60, 70, 80, 90, doesn't matter how old your mentor is, but it's the ability to hold space to ask the questions. They may have done something you want to do that you can explore and learn from them. It's keeping that yearning and that curiosity around learning open and not closing off to it. And a classic example is my mum. She was a school teacher for like 40 odd years, and she retired. And she, at our wedding, my wife and I got wedding at my dad's farm, and it was in the middle of the poplar trees, and that was our aisle, and that really got her heart singing, and she went off and become a marriage celebrant. And then she was doing all this aspect of these beautiful weddings and ceremonies in the parks, and she was on the microphone, and she could use her English and her acting skills in this thing that really lit her fire. And it was so beautiful to watch. Yes, she loves to complain about everything, but that's just my beauty and my mother. But it's the ability to really step into that and learn, go, oh, maybe I could do that, or maybe I could do that. That's what and never stop learning. I think once we stop learning, then we're in deep shit. Technical term. Yeah. So always be curious, always learn, always grow, always develop, and you'll find that that purpose, that passion that will light the internal juices and get you going.
Oh, I love it. And like there's a bit of agreements going around on the learning and growing. The heads are going. Blaze, for you.
Yeah, just to flow on from Shorty and Kylie. Firstly, if there is listeners here that are over 60, I have 60-year-old men come on a 3-day retreat that I run. And what I ask them is like, how did you get to be here? Like, and they have willingness to change. They're not stuck in their way. And so what I'd offer would be, if you're over the age of 60, I would challenge you to do this process, which is called God Goggles. And so each and every single day, take about an hour out of your life and pretend to put some goggles on that you create everything that you see. And look at the world with awe, curiosity, and wonderment. And within the stillness, you'll find the clarity. And something like the wedding, that moment that God Goggles was on, it was the flowers. Shorty's mum remembered how beautiful this existence is. And then all of those things got her, all the acting, the English, the teaching, got her to be a marriage celebrant at over the age of 60, which is so fulfilling and rewarding. And that's just one example. There would be so many examples of that there's so much fruit to life after 60, because then there's no pressure to work. And it's like, I don't have to do this anymore. I get to do this. And so I think there's a massive through line here around learning, looking at the world with curiosity, because when we're open and have that childlike awe and wonderment of like possibilities are endless. It's endless then.
I just love it because where we're at right now, right, we're looking at our elders. We're looking at how they have found purpose beyond, and we're smiling. We're sharing it. We're so happy. And it gives us the opportunity and reminds us that we've got a lot more to do. And I just love it, you know.
I just love to share my mother-in-law. And so my father-in-law goes to work, and she's looks after the house and everything, and she potters around. The moment my son came along, she gained purpose because she gained the label grandma. She's the most hands-on, incredible assistance, and that tribe that you mentioned, Kylie. Yeah. My mother-in-law is super phenomenal, and she's got purpose in her grandkids, and she just gives everything. And it's amazing. At that age, she found that love again for life, and just every day she lives it and breathes it. Grandma, or nanny. Yeah.
Nanny.
We're about to go over time, but I'd really like to share a really quick story. My mum, at the age of 50, was very sick. She didn't want to be here anymore. She's asked us to turn off life support if she goes into that area. 2 years later, Oscar was born, or a couple of years later, Oscar was born. Exact numbers. We were very ginger with Oscar and my mum, because she was not stable on her feet, were worried about her not being able to hold Oscar. Marcella had her accident. We had no option but for my mum, for Oscar to stay with my mum. My mum's just come out of hospital, and that's the first time she's been back in hospital since Oscar was in her care.
Mm.
She had a purpose, and she's got other grandkids now, and they're all there, and she loves them all. Right now, we're in lockdown. She can't see any of them. She's making trauma teddies for the hospital. She's making blankets for the people who are sitting there going through chemo, so they've got things to touch. I'm so proud of my mum for finding her purpose. And she thought it was Hey, proud of you, Mum.
Beautiful.
You should be proud of them. Good on her.
I am. More importantly, she needs to be proud of herself for what she's done and where she's come from and where she's gone to. On this, we're over the hour, and I'm so grateful for this conversation. I'm so grateful that we've got to this point, and I love it because every single time we do one of these conversations, we start communicating, we start learning each other, we start talking. And in the last 10 minutes of every conversation, there is so much gold, and it just fills my heart. But I'm going to ask each of you for one bit of advice. Someone's watching this tonight. Someone's watching them, and they're not quite sure where to go. They're not quite sure where to start. They're not quite sure, but they know it's in here. What would you ask them to do? Shorty.
Keep exploring. Keep the light shining brightly. Don't put any dimmers on that furnace that's shining inside of you. Actually put more fuel on that light, whatever that might be. If that's a book, if that's a documentary, if that's learning more, going back to school, college, whatever it is, don't stop. Keep shining brightly. Put your hand up. See who else has done it before. Reach out to friends, families, mentors, but don't put the light out. Keep shining. Keep it bright, because at the end of the day, that will be your fulfillment. That will be where there's no regrets. You haven't left anything unturned. Keep shining brightly.
Beautiful. Thank you, Shorty. Blaze.
First thing I would offer is, if you don't know already, find out what your values are. Every human has 5 to 7 core beliefs or values. Find out exactly what they are, because they'll be your cornerstone to question everything. And then go toe dipping. And by that I mean, try every single thing that you love and put a time frame to it. Make it tangible, put a time frame. And then after, if it's 30 days, then you have your values there. Then you can say, is this in alignment with my values? And if there's no's, you change. And just go on a journey of trying everything that you love until you find that thing that is just 100%. It's a fuck yes. It's a full body fuck yes. And then chase that with everything that you have, every breath, everything that you want to give, and you'll find meaning and purpose in everything.
Love it. Thank you. Kylie.
I can't follow that. You're exactly right. Find it. Look, you know what? Years ago, I ended up in a relationship that I probably shouldn't have been in. I was following somebody else's dream. So when I left, I got a tattoo on my wrist. It says passion. So that is to remind me that, like, follow my passion, not somebody else's passion. And I think that, that was my thing. It was like, I ended up on a road, well down a road, and I was like, I don't even like this. This is not even making me happy, and it's miserable. I feel like I'm drowning. So, just keep finding the full body yes, the feel, all of that. Just, and someone else I know says follow the yeses. When you say what you want to do and someone goes, you know what? I know someone that does that. Follow that yes. Yeah. And you'll find it.
I love it.
Love it.
I'm just so grateful. Like I just really am. Listen, I've got nothing to follow that up with tonight. I'm gonna let the light shine, because on this screen right now is people full of purpose, people full of heart, and it is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to ask you, if you're watching and you feel like you've connected with somebody on this panel tonight, reach out to them. Reach out. Okay? Their names are there on Facebook. They're a part of the Campfire community. You can find them easy. Reach out, because I guarantee you're going to put a smile on their face as much as anybody. So from me to you, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you so much, Shorty, coming from the car office. Thank you so much, Blaze, for coming in, mate. It's been beautiful having you. Kylie, mate, you're gorgeous. Love what you do. More people become death doors, because honestly, it's one of those beautiful gifts you can give somebody, to be there and hold them through a space and time. It's just, so anyway, thank you so much, campers. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next Thursday. Thank you, guys. Thanks guys.
Bye.